Hey, good morning, everyone. Joe back again. I figured I'm gonna try to do one video, at least one video per day. Again, I'm not expecting anyone or many people to even see this, but I guess more for myself, just to track my progress and see how I'm doing in my recovery and just my life in general. Because right now, uh, I'm only about 9 days clean from alcohol. Just moved into this house. I've been here for a week now, I'm just out of shape, mentally and physically. I've been unemployed for over 2 years, so there's a lot that I would like to work on. Uh, I'm doing this primarily for myself and to motivate myself. But if anyone stumbles upon it and this helps them, that would make it all the better. So that being said, so far things have been going relatively well at the house. However, there was a little issue yesterday, which I take full responsibility for. I didn't even think about it, but while most of the guys were out of the house, or like at work, me and another roommates had taken. I had some weight equipment like a bench and some plates. That I brought from my apartment here and was originally in storage. But yesterday we're talking and it's like, oh, hey, let's get that set up in this little alcove. No one's using it and it's pretty out of the way. No one, I don't think anyone will mind. And if they do, we can just move it right back. So we did do that. Which is not, it's a perfect spot. That's what's unfortunate. It's a perfect spot to have all that equipment. We got some speakers set up there as well. But the house manager came home and, he was rightfully or understandably upset, not about the fact so much that those weights were there, but the fact that we hadn't had asked all the housemates, whether that be at the weekly meeting or just a casual check-in, like, hey guys, we want to do this, can we do this? So he was understandably upset, which is unfortunate. I understand where he's coming from, but it's just, it's a pretty stark reminder as to why I've wanted to live by myself for so long, and I've, taken that for granted, that being that independent and having my own living space, and I don't have to consult with anyone or think of anyone about what I want to do inside my space. So yeah, there's that. But like I think I've mentioned in the last video, I just cannot live on my own right now. I'm way too early in my recovery, and I've been struggling with relapses over the past year. Even being in mental health court and having random UAs Monday through Friday. My color was called pretty frequently. It was, at least twice a week, sometimes 3 or 4 times a week. But that just wasn't enough to hold me accountable to myself, to stay sober. It's not like I don't want to be sober, but it's just, it's been tough. It's been very tough. And I'm sure others in recovery can agree. Addiction is one hell of a beast. But yeah, so, knowing the fact that I would have UAs and I would test positive for alcohol, that wasn't enough to prevent me from drinking. I would just get really anxious or really bored, and then be like, hey, let's drink, knowing well that, there's a good chance that my color is going to be called the next day. But I guess my addiction had told me that, that's a tomorrow problem. Let's focus on today. So that's what I like about living in the shared sober living house is, so far everything's been pretty much great except for yesterday, and I understand that. But that's what I like about living here is yeah, I still have that choice to drink or to use, whether that be outside of and come back home, or to even bring it in the home and use it in the home. However, there's a few reasons why that is it's not so much an option, at least not so much of a possibility as if I were living on my own. Just because, one, that's incredibly disrespectful to the house and disrespectful to everyone else's recovery. And then two, fortunately, this house is really great in terms the main house manager is really awesome about giving people second chances, or even a third or fourth, depending on if the situation, because I had been kicked out. I think I mentioned it briefly. I'd been kicked out of my Oxford house in February because I went over to my apartment, spent the night, and then I drank. And then their Oxford's policy is any relapses and in termination, you have 15 minutes to get your stuff and get the hell out. And then you can come back at a future time within 30 days and get the rest of your stuff. So within that 15 minutes, just take what you can and get out. And then so normally, well, actually, all the Oxford houses require one of the stipulations is a 30-day period or greater of sobriety. So obviously, I wasn't going to have that, especially having moved back into my apartment and feeling really negative and down on myself for having messed up a really great thing, and especially having messed up mental health court. I was still drinking, so I guess I could have went into another Oxford house and lied, been like, oh yeah, I've been 30 days clean, but kind of the same thing. I just feel that that's incredibly disrespectful to the people living there and to the house itself, and I feel really bad about disrespecting the house when I had relapsed in February and got kicked out. Yeah, so just it's nice. It's really nice being here. I've really enjoyed it, but it is a bit tough at times. But it's what I need. I need that accountability of like, hey, if you come home drunk or under the influence, or you bring stuff in here and use, well, that's what's nice too. That's why I bring up Oxford House is it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be immediately kicked out of the house. However, you're given this 72-hour period to, they say to kind of like get your stuff and leave, but it sounds like that's, if you can reconcile and say, okay, here's, why I relapsed, or here's what happens, and then do a plan and say, hey, here's what I'm going to do instead. Maybe I'll go to more AA meetings, or I'll go into, outpatient treatment if you're not already in it, or whatever the case might be. And then, if you can work out a really great plan, you can stay here. But I'm sure though, that isn't going to be, always the case, or I should say, maybe like a second chance or a third chance. But, from what I've learned the hard way, and I knew this, it's just, if you keep messing up, you're going to have to face the consequences. So, my goal is to not have that happen at all. And I've been really good about not having cravings this past week. Same with the Oxford House. I guess just knowing that if I drink or use, will lead to some pretty significant short-term consequences. That's enough of a deterrent. Whereas, failing UA apparently isn't, which, whatever. So yeah, so I'm really glad to be here. My recovery is going pretty well. I went to, the housemates invited me to an AA meeting last night. That's done every week. It's, I don't know if it was at a church but kind of like a faith-based place. And it was really cool because, everyone there was super friendly, very welcoming. They had served dinner before the meeting had started. So it was really great, just a great environment to go in and, meet people, eat some good food, and then have a really great AA meeting. And I've previously stated, AA is not really my cup of tea. I'm not opposed to it, but for me, it hasn't really worked as well as Smart Recovery. But this group I really enjoy, so I do plan on trying to go every Thursday if I can. And it was nice too. I got to share a little bit of my story, but there's only so much you can share in 3 to 5 minutes for each person sharing. So yeah, so I guess that's also why I really want to just make these videos, is just like a platform to just talk, essentially, just talk out my feelings and emotions. But I'm doing well, so I need to be consistent. I want to try and be consistent, whether or not I'm doing well, or whether or not I feel the need to blog, journal, or video post to kind of get things off my chest. I still want to, so that way I can again look back and say, oh wow, yeah, here you're doing well at this time, or you weren't doing well at this time, and maybe use that as kind of a log to see what has worked and what hasn't worked, and most importantly, just to look back and say, wow, okay, I made it. I was really, in that deep hole that I dug myself, but I was able to dig myself out. And of course, not by myself. I've learned the hard way too. With recovery, I'm sure there's some that can, but for the most part, recovery is not just a solo activity. It really is dependent on people helping you and having that social support network. And that's why I've learned the hard way. But I'm really thankful that the city I live in has a really great recovery community, and I am going to be working on getting back into that. So yeah, still have a lot to do. I'm doing well, but much more to do. And like I said, I hope to continue making these videos, and hopefully someone stumbles across it and it helps them out. So I will see you guys next time.